All right, maybe we can start with some introductions, and there might be some more folks that will join us later, but we will welcome them then. Hello everyone. Welcome to our webinar. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us in the world, if you're joining us live. Um, my name is Shauna Slabiota, and I work at UC San Diego, and I will be helping with this presentation today. This webinar series is a collaboration um, between our International Services and Engagement Office on campus and the Graduate Education and Postdoctoral Affairs. And today, this is a whole series of webinars. Today's session is focused on student life and getting involved. I do encourage you to check out some of the other webinar sessions that we have had that have been recorded and been posted. If you missed any of those, you can watch them um, via the ISEO links, and we'll provide those for you. But for today, I guess I just want to say welcome. And yeah. Oh, I think this is kind of what I maybe covered a little bit already, is just the collaborations between our offices. And I do work in graduate education and postdoctoral affairs. But we have a whole host of individuals here that will be helping you out. So again, I'm Shauna Slabiota. Sai, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Shana. Hi, everybody. I'm Sai Krishna Vamadipati. I'm a graduate student. I'm a PhD student in the School of Biological Sciences. I'm a fourth year. I also work as a graduate programs intern here at the International Services and Engagement Office, and I'm excited to be here today. Thank you.
Anna, would you like to introduce yourself too?
Yes, for sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Ana Villalpando, she, ella. I'm a doctoral student at the literature department, second year, and I am the grad life intern here at GEPA. It's a pleasure to be here.
Wonderful, thank you. And we also have some wonderful panelists that maybe we'll introduce just a little bit later. And so I don't think I actually started this presentation by saying congratulations to you all for having been admitted to graduate study at UC San Diego. That is a wonderful accomplishment. And part of these webinars is to introduce you to the community at UC San Diego, especially with this session where we will be talking about graduate student life. UC San Diego is a large campus, and so you will often hear from a variety of campus offices or staff members in these webinars. So it might be a lot at first, but hopefully you'll start to settle in after you get to UCSD and start your study and start to learn about all the resources that are on campus. But that's why we work collaboratively and why we really rely on our partnerships, because we can't get it all done on our own. But let's go through some just sort of practical aspects of this webinar. So you are in listen only mode. So you won't be able to, you can hear us, but we won't be able to hear you. We do ask that the way that you engage with us is to use the Q&A feature in the webinar to submit questions, and you can also you can also visit icontact.ucsd.edu if after this webinar you think of a question that you didn't get to ask. We will have kind of more dedicated time for question and answer towards the end of the webinar. But you can submit the questions throughout if you want to, if you don't want to forget. But just keep in mind that we may not get to it right away, but we will hopefully get to it towards the end. And also that we are recording. So this session will be recorded. It will be posted later on for other folks to be able to watch or to revisit the content. And you can access that information via inewstudentwebinars.ucsd.edu. So some of the webinars we've already had for this year have been on getting your visa, getting all that documentation in order. We've also had a session on graduate student housing, kind of more, a little bit more about the application piece. And we'll also have folks today who will talk about the community piece. We've had a session on student health. And so if you missed any of those sessions, please go to inewstudentwebinars.ucsd.edu and you'll be able to watch the recording. This is just a quick little shot on your control panel. You will see a spot to rate to do a question and answer, and then you'll be able to insert your questions there. All right. I think Sai.
Thank you, Shana. I'm just gonna, before we move along, I just wanted to give you a brief intro about who we are. We are ISEO, the International Services and Engagement Office, comprised of 30 wonderful professional staff and 15 student staff, including myself. And next slide, please. Yeah, and our team of expert staff supports everything an international student would have to go through even before they arrive onto campus and even after they've graduated with things like OPT and such. And yeah, our goal is to help you successfully transition to campus and student life here at UCSD, and hope that you engage in a meaningful way with the university and the local community. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so just wanted to give you a brief snapshot of what the international student on campus is comprised of. We are 8,000 plus international students currently on campus, plus 2,000, over 2,000 people who are working after graduation. So this would be the OPT and the CPT students. So yeah, the ICO office is in service of more than 10,000 people on campus and beyond. And we have over 4,000 undergraduate students and over 4,000 graduate students. And on the right, you will see the top 10 places of origin for all the international students and yeah, and different departments they're associated with. Next slide, please. So yeah, I just want to reiterate and say again, extend a warm welcome for everyone. And this is the agenda for today. We'll just go over different campus resources, including ISEO resources. We have campus partners from various campus initiatives and organizations here today, and we will hear from them. And I know all the new students are looking forward to hearing from the current students. So the highlight of this event would be the student panel, where we'll have some questions, and we'll also hopefully have time to take questions from you all attending the webinar. So yeah, let's, without further ado, get started. Next slide, please.
Sorry, Sai. Did we want this one or next one? Oh, sorry. Okay. I'm gonna do some reminders from graduate admissions. Um, we encourage you to log into your application portal. You should be familiar with your portal by now. This is where you would have applied for your program and also seen the decision that you were admitted. So I'm going to ask everyone to go back into your portal and to look to see if the statement of legal residence form is listed as a to-do item. This form is not required for all programs, but the information in the portal is going to be personalized to you. And I will show a screenshot in just a moment. So I really encourage everyone to go take a look, see if it's listed there, and if it is, to please submit that form. Um, I want to point out that most students at this time are provisionally admitted. This just means that there is documentation, often official documentation, like a transcript or test score, that needs to be submitted to the graduate admissions office. So please take a look at what pending admissions documents are available and or listed and submit those. And if you have any questions about your application, please contact our graduate admissions team at gradadmissions@ucsd.edu. And I can also put that in the chat in a moment. This is the screenshot of your portal. So on the left-hand side, this is what your home screen is going to look like. And when you go to the bottom, there is where you can find the forms that may be required. And when it has a little green check mark, that means you've completed it and you don't have anything else to do. And then the right-hand side is your checklist items. So this is another place where you can go to see what is still required for your application. And there's also instructions on how you can submit a transcript. So these are items that will need to be taken care of to um, as an applicant. And so we want to make sure that everyone has this information and that if you have questions, please let us know. And that's it for my part.
Okay, I just wanted to add that ISEO has tried to make the process of for the students arriving and starting a program as seamless and intuitive as possible. As international students, we have the dual responsibility of following the academic processes in addition to immigration requirements. So inewstudents.ucsd.edu is intended to help you in all matters of immigration to get from where you are to San Diego to begin your program. So if you navigate to inewstudents.ucsd.edu, you can click on the See More option. We have a screenshot of that here on the left. And then you can click on new bachelor's, master's, or PhD student, depending on what your admission status is going to be. And then that'll take you to all to the guide where you can request all your immigration documents, and then it'll help you prepare for your arrival and up to the process where you've arrived. So please bookmark this resource, and then also this is something you'll find yourself leaning very heavily onto as you navigate the arrival process. Next slide, please. So I understand the deadline for formally accepting your admission has not passed yet, so you still have time to do this, but this is something you will do once you have finalized that and once you've accepted the offer. So this is something you can keep in the back of your mind until then. So once you have formally accepted, you can set up your UCSD account. You'll get your PID, which is the personal identification number, and you will also have your UCSD email, and then you will also establish a statement of legal residence. More information about this will follow both from ICO and from your home department. With that, I just want to pass it off to Anna for some GEPA related updates.
Amazing. Thank you, Sai. And I will be sharing about the different programs that you'll find through GEPA and more importantly, how to find them whenever you are getting involved and starting in campus. Can we go to the next slide, please, Rana? Thank you. So here at Grad Life, our purpose is to support the success of all UCSD students, graduate and professional students. And we do this by providing academic, financial, social, community, and health resources. And we also promote events that are relevant to graduate students. So if you want to find more information about what we do, what is happening, if you want to get in touch and see everything that is going on right now, please visit the link that I just posted in the chat. Now, we have a few ways that you can find out what is happening, and one of them is the newsletter. Can we go to the next slide? Thank you. So the new grad newsletter is something that we share every week. It's a weekly newsletter, and it's focused on sharing these resources, updates, and promoting different community events and resources. We have it divided by categories, so it's not only academic resources, opportunities that you have, but also social events. So we have updates, we have campus community, mental health and wellness, resources that you can access, opportunities and academic events, writing resources, and teaching resources. Keep in mind that you will receive this every Monday morning. So whenever you want to know what's happening during the week, maybe you have a free afternoon and you want to see what activities are going on campus, this is a great resource to visit. We also have the calendar. Can we go to the next one? Thank you. We also have the calendar, and this lives on our website. And we collaborate with student leaders, campus organizations, faculty, and staff to bring essential programming, resources, and support to graduate and professional students. So everything that is going on during the week, maybe you don't want to go necessarily to the newsletter. We have received a lot of emails, so you can directly access the calendar that we have on our site. And if you're part of a student organization, if there's an event happening at your department, you can also submit that event and promote it using the newsletter. Then thank you, whenever you set up your account, you receive access to Canvas, you will see there posted at the student orientation. Now, this orientation it's comprehensive. It's really in detail about everything that we have planned to support you as an incoming student at UCSC. Now, the purpose of this is to facilitate a successful transition into graduate school. Once you have your credentials, your single on access, you will be able to explore it and see what is happening on campus, what resources, departments, divisions are available for you to access if you have any questions, and then the different points of contact. And the last thing that I'm going to mention is, as you are getting, prepared to coming to UCSC, probably being excited about what's happening, please visit our Instagram. You can find it at UCSC Grad Life, and you'll see everything that is going right now with our community. You'll see engagement from different departments. We share resources, we share community events, we share opportunities for you as a student, grants, etc. So it's a great resource as well to see what is not only happening at GEPA, what is happening in campus, and what collaborations we're working on. So yeah, that's everything from on my end.
If you go to the next slide, please, Shana. Yes, I want to briefly touch upon the different programs that ISEO offers. We have the Global Coffee Hours every month, where you can come grab a coffee, a pastry, and chat with the ISEO staff and fellow international students and domestic students. We have the English in Action program, where you will be paired with a native English speaker if you wish to practice your English speaking skills. And we have a partnership with Outback Adventures. If you'd like to participate in different uh, adventures in and around San Diego and check out new places. And we have the International Student Advisory Council. This would be your one-stop shop to discuss all the issues that you'd like to bring up that concern you as an international student, and find community. We have game night every month, and we have crafts events every month, and you'll find a lot more information about this in the coming months. Next slide, please. So Ivan's calendar, and highly recommend everyone bookmark this, especially in the months leading up to your arrival here. This will be a comprehensive calendar of all the ICO events and all the events different campus partners are organizing on any given day throughout your academic year. So yeah, so this is just a snapshot of that. Next slide, please. Just want to briefly touch upon what we have something called the CCR program, which is the co-curricular record. It's like your resume, but for extracurricular activities. So most events, if not all, that you go on campus, you can earn credit for participating in these events, including a lot of ICO events. So in your time here, you'll get a chance to um, update your CCR credentials, and which will help give that edge to your resume. Next slide, please. This is a program very dear to my heart. I lead the Grad Pals program, which is a mentorship program where incoming international students are paired with current students to help ease your transition to San Diego and the UCSD grad life. You will hear more about this from me in the coming months, especially after you've accepted your offers and as you're preparing to arrive to San Diego and beyond. Next slide, please. So yeah, I will put a link about of this in the chat, but we have a surf check guide, which is created for students by students, which will cover most of the frequently asked questions by international students, and it will cover topics like housing, transportation, setting a phone account, bank account, and more. And yeah, I'll post a link in the chat shortly. Next slide, please. Yeah, with that, okay, if we could go to the next slide. So here are some of the community centers I just wanted to highlight. Depending on whatever your identity is, you can always find people and get that sense of community. We have the Cross Cultural Center, Black Resource Center, LGBT Resource Center, Women's Center, Apimeda, to name a few. Next slide, please. And we have a lot of campus organizations. So if you go to student.org.ucsd.edu, no matter what affinity group you would willing to be a part of, it likely already exists. Next slide, please. If not, you'll also have the chance of making your own organization and club on campus. We have over 584 organizations and clubs on campus for you to be part of across 20 different categories. And I just want to be emphatic in saying that we welcome students from all cultures, nationalities, ethnicities, and preferences. Next slide, please. So with that, I'd want to pass it off to my friend Jocelyn, who'll talk about SACMAS.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. So we are SACMAS, a Society for Advancements of Chicanos, Hispanics, and Native Americans in Science, although we are not exclusive to these demographics. And actually, I should probably say who I am. I'm a fourth year PhD student, also in the biological sciences program like Sci. And I just wanted to share that our organization is really closely connected to the San Diego community. So if you're going to be new to San Diego, as you are, this would be a great opportunity to check out what our community is about. We help out K through 12 students. We get to partner with libraries and K through 12 schools. And I also have Andrea, who's on the call. She's the vice president of the organization that can just chime in really quick on some of the initiatives that we have on campus that can be of benefit to you. Andrea, if you want to hop on.
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Jocelyn. I'm also a graduate student in biology with Sai and Jocelyn. And so SACNAS has a lot of on-campus activities as well. We do a lot of like mentorship for undergraduate students. So recently we've had a workshop targeted at helping students apply to the NDI STEM conference, which is the national SACNAS conference that happens every year. And so we were helping undergrads prepare abstracts, write their statements of purpose, ask for letters of recommendation, in order to get more young students involved in scientific conferences. Um, we also do a lot of like community events on campus. We'll do like things for Dia de los Muertos. And we also have an ongoing Cafecito chat series, which features different faculty from underrepresented groups who will talk about their journeys through science. And this is like a really great way of getting more connected to the faculty and seeing like how you can have a career path through different science avenues. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Fatima Rubio, pronoun she, they. I serve as the current Vice President of Social Affairs for GPSA, which stands for the Graduate and Professional Student Association. I am a third-year PhD student in the chemistry and biochemistry department. So like I said, GPSA is the Graduate and Professional Student Association. And this organization is here to be able to advocate for the rights and interests of all graduate and professional students, whether that's academically or non-academically. So even like things related to transportation, housing, basic needs. And our mission is to represent the interests and concerns of grad and professional students on campus. And we are able to do so directly with administration. So things that fall under our purview is if your student org needs funding, advocating for particular issues. We also host events. So as VP Social, my office, you might see us on Fridays where we host events, social events outside of working hours in order for students to build community and foster relationships with one another. There's also travel grants that we offer on a quarterly basis to those seeking some financial help for like conferences and symposiums. And we also have annual community and research awards. So that's a bit about what we do. You might be asking, how can you get involved with GPSA? So you can think of GPSA essentially as graduate and professional student government. So you can get involved either being a rep for your department. You can ask your department, or I believe it's also on our website, what departments currently have reps or need reps. So yeah, you can be a rep. That means you're going to sit in our council meetings and be able to be a representative for your department on issues relating to grad and professional students. There are also appointed positions. So each office in GPSA, we have a total of 7 offices: president, academic, finance, external, campus, and social, and as well as DEI. So there are positions under those offices that you're also able to apply to be a part of. And then we have our elected positions similar to myself. So yeah, appointed positions and elected positions are also stipend. So it's like a little incentive also to get involved with GPSA. If you do have any more questions, I will drop our website and Instagram in the chat, and you're more than welcome to email me. I believe my email will be provided at the end of this session. But that's all from GPSA. I'm going to pass it to HDH.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kelsey Dantu, and I am a part of GFH Connect, and my colleague Corelli will be speaking momentarily. But we are in the graduate and family housing at UCSD. Next, please. So just want to kind of give you a map of where the graduate and family housing community is. We have technically 6, but we kind of call it 5 communities. We have Mesa, Mesa Nueva, Nuevo East, Nuevo West, OMS, which also stands for 1 Miramar Street. And then it's color coded. We can share this map with you guys a little later. But if you look kind of closely, you can see the Nuevo East is on the east side, and Mesa Nueva in orange. You see Mesa Apartments are in blue. OMS is on the left side, and then Nuevo West is a little closer to OMS. It's the darker blue. Next slide, please. And then we also have Coast. Coast is a smaller community, about 150 residents. This is closer to La Jolla Shores, the beautiful beaches in La Jolla area. So again, these communities, this is where we do all of our programming, and we ensure that as graduate students, you guys are not just always doing your studies, but you are having a chance to have some programs that we'll talk about a little later on. But in total, we have about 5,500 residents in all of our student communities. And that includes also their dependents, which could be family members who include in that total. Next, please. So what do we do? In a nutshell, we do programming and community development. and student conduct and assessment. Our biggest thing, though, is our program and community development. We put on programming specifically for you. It's curated for what you need and building a sense of morale and a sense of belonging in the community. We know that your studies can be a lot, and sometimes you need to step away and do something a little bit more heartwarming, more lighthearted, whether it's crafting, whether it's professional development, like resume workshops. My colleague Corelli will talk more about that, and we'll show you some flyers that our community assistants have created and programs that they've done. As far as student conduct, we also oversee the process of making sure that folks are abiding by the housing policies within the graduate and family housing. And then for assessment, we put out certain surveys to get feedback from you and ensuring that we are meeting your needs. So we'll put out surveys after certain programming that our community assistants do, as well as our general GFH uh, annual survey, just to get feedback on how the amenities are in the community, and then going back to any programming pieces that we can work on to ensure that we are meeting your needs as a graduate student. Next, please. So just want to give you a snapshot of our team. That's myself below, my colleague Corelli is above, and then our manager Dane is on the right. So our team currently consists of one manager, 2 community development coordinators. We have someone who's going to be joining our team in a couple weeks, and then myself, the program and community development assistant for our team. We also have our community assistants, and there's 15 of them. And again, those students, they are graduate students, and they are tasked with creating programs for you in their specific communities, as I showed you earlier, that will help you, again, create a sense of belonging, have building morale and connecting with other students, other people while you are doing your studies here at UCSD. We also have 2 community liaisons, and I'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like. Next slide, please. So I keep bringing up the term sense of belonging because that's kind of like an umbrella term to all the programming that we do, but we do follow a model. So our team, again, is called GFH Connect, and we take the word connect and we've created a model ensuring that our program follows this. So any program that you see promoted by us is always going to be connected back to this. So it's creating a sense of belonging, programming around professional life skills, nurturing interpersonal relationships and emotional wellness, navigating campus resources, encouraging physical health and well-being, cultivating inclusion, and teaching with social responsibility. We do our best to take a holistic approach to our programming, ensuring that we're hitting all aspects of you as a student. The emotional aspect of being a student is just as important as, physical health and just as important as optimizing your professional skills, and also wanting to create a good sense of social responsibility and understanding inclusion as well. So all those things, all our CAs, our community assistants do a wonderful job at ensuring that we hit all these points just to make sure that we're creating a holistic experience for you. Next slide. Thank you. So I did mention that we do have 2 community liaisons, and one community liaison is specific for the Black Graduate Experience LLC. Pardon me. This is specifically curated for Black graduate students who can come and affirm and celebrate their excellence in Black culture. And it's just a space for them to congregate. It's other folks who do not identify as Black can also join the BGLC as well to learn more about the BGLC, to get connected with certain resources like the Black Resource Center. We're also connected with GEPA, the Graduate Education and Professional Association. Again, it's just kind of a space specifically curated for Black students, but again, all are welcome. Next slide. And then similarly, we are going to be launching our Latinx Living Learning Community, similar to the BG LLC in the sense that this is specifically designed for the Latinx graduate student community as well. Again, that's for them to promote their Latinx connections and celebrating their culture and creating lifelong relationships. They are closely connected to the Raza Resource Center, the Latinx Scholars Network, also with the Graduate Education and Professional Association, GEPA. So we have those 2 learning communities, and we have two representatives from those communities who specifically curate programming for those communities. Again, all are welcome, but it is specifically curated for those who identify as Latina. Next slide, please. And I will pass it on to my colleague, Corelli.
Hi, my name is Corelli, she, her pronouns. I'm one of the Program and Community Development Coordinators here at GFH Connect. So I'm going to be going over a little bit of the programs we're doing. So current programs that we've done this past quarter are, for example, at Coast, we did a garden party. So how can we revitalize our community gardens in our GFH Connect spaces? We have these community gardens and these are volunteer-based. So we kind of collaborated with the community garden volunteer at Coast to just kind of revitalize that space and made it an activity for students to come and do. We've also done emergency preparedness workshop, which we actually collaborated with UCPD to host a workshop. And we actually had a lot of turnout come out, which was really nice for students. And we also done a Sew Together, Grow Together workshop, learning how to sew and craft activities. As you can see, we have a variety of activities that address different needs of our students. And our CAs are really in charge of giving us ideas of what programming students want to see. Obviously, we also encourage feedback from students, what they want to see in the future. All of our programming will be sent in a weekly newsletters on Tuesdays to our different communities. Some are tailored specifically for example, Coast communities, MESA, but obviously this is open to all graduate students and family houses, whether it's their dependents and spouses. Next slide, please. So this is more of our programmings. We've done a boba and gratitude journaling in partnership with CAPS. As you can see, we really encourage students to connect them with campus partners. This was a very fun program that people really enjoyed. It kind of was near the end of the quarter, allowed people to really relax and come together and really think about gratitude at the end of the quarter. We've also done cookie baking and holiday celebration. And this was in partnership with one of the on-campus dining. So we're really looking forward to creating more relationships with campus dining and really taking students to the different resources that are on campus. But at the same time, as graduate family housing, we are a little bit far away from campus. So how can we bring campus partners to us and how can we take students to them? One of our popular programs too was a Bad Bunny birthday bash, which was really fun, just celebrating Bad Bunny's birthday. And this was one of the LLC, the Latin A group, hosted this program. So this is just an example of some programs that our CAs have hosted, and all these programs are free of charge. Next slide, please. This is more programming we've done in the past. Dia de los Muertos, we've even worked with campus clubs and organization. For example, La Joya del Sur, Mariachi performed at our Day of the Dead festival. And as well, we also had a Happy Diwali gather. Usually for these cultural events, we've had a big turnout. We've had like 100 to 300 folks attend. And all this is free for students, and people really enjoy it, and we really hope to have more cultural celebrations. And we also did a Halloween parade. This was more centered around our families and kids and dependents in our communities, having a parade in our spaces. So our programming can take place in our graduate family communities, but we can also take place on campus. Next slide, please. These are some of our fun programming pics. We've done bouquet making. One of these pictures is from when we did the cooking making class. This lion dance is from the Southern Sea and Lion Dance Association at UCSD. We had them for our Lunar New Year celebration. And yeah, next slide, please. So something that we really do that we encourage everyone attending is we have once every quarter, we have our major marquee programs, and these are free of attendance. We have lots of food options. We have lots of activities. We have different crafting activities, such as this quarter, we were thinking of making your own herb garden. And for the fall festival in 2024, we even had a petting zoo. So this is just something that we offer every quarter near kind of the middle of the quarter, kind of a welcoming and everybody settling in. So just a reminder that this is free of charge. This is for the students. You can also bring your spouse's independence to this. Just make sure to RSVP to our programs and you'll be notified this through flyers and newsletters. Next slide, please. So just kind of to reiterate, these are campus partners we worked with before. We worked with Equinox, for example, when addressing sustainability programs. We've done create your own compost bins to decorate. We worked closely with the rec center. We, like a lot of programs we've done, we want to promote physical well-being, and we've done yoga programs outdoors in our communities. And students really seem to enjoy active programs. And as well, we've worked with them to host healthy meal preps. And just we work closely with other community resource centers, the Trident Food Pantry, catering, the craft center, especially for our larger marquee programs, so they could kind of help us host that and walk students through the arts and crafts. Career Center, we host like professional development workshops, such as resume building. Father Joe's Village was one of our community care projects, which we did volunteering off campus in a soup kitchen. Our students actually seem to enjoy that, and we hope to continue giving back to the community, both at GFH Connect and to San Diego. And this is just basically a summary of the programs we've done and campus partners and collaborations, and we really hope to continue to bring more campus partners into our spaces. Thank you. Next slide. Awesome. So you can apply to be a CA or a CL. These are future job opportunities. Currently, we have our application open to become a community assistant. The deadline is April 7th. Eligibility for this is to become a full-time grad student, not exceed 19 hours per week as an international student, and you must be a GFH resident prior to employment. So please take care of this opportunity. If you're interested, please make sure to send us an email. Thank you so much. That's it for me.
Thank you. In the interest of time, I'm just going to very briefly touch upon some transportation resources. Next slide, please. The main ones I want to highlight is the UCSD shuttles. So there's convenient shuttles connecting different points on campus, including one from grad housing to the central campus. There's also city buses, the MTS buses that students can avail themselves of. You would get this app called the Pronto app, and then as a UCSC student, you'll have a Triton U Pass, and you can use the public transportation, including the MTS buses and the trolley, which connects La Jolla, where the campus is situated, to downtown and many other areas. So you will be able to avail yourself of these transportation options for free of cost. Next slide, please. Let's skip this in the interest of time. If you could go to the next slide. Yes, so I posted the link to the Surf Check guide earlier. Please be sure to check out the transportation section, which will have more information about transportation from airport to UCSD and other relevant resources. With that, let me pass this on to Jack, who will talk about basic needs.
Hi, Sai. Thanks so much. In the interest of time, I can also say this kind of quickly. Basically, for those that have more questions on basic needs after I discuss what I say, please ask me questions in the Q&A so that I can broaden. But I guess next slide, please. So basic needs at UCSD has, there's many resources at UCSD to address graduate students' basic needs, basic rights. Many of these address kind of the access to resources to shore up housing, food, financial security. The Hub Basic Needs Center is kind of your go-to spot for all resources you can get for basic needs, you can meet with someone one-on-one, and they can help address how we can make sure that you're getting the food, the housing, and the kind of financial security that you deserve. Triton Food Pantry is as a resource for food security. iTable is meant for international students to kind of close the gap between resources available to domestic students that aren't available to international students. Shauna, could you next slide, please? The UCSD Grocery Shuttle is a resource for students to allow easy access on the weekends for students to get to and from the Convoy kind of grocery area. There's markets there people can buy food at. Graduate Student CSA program is managed by the GPSA Basic Needs Committee, which I forgot to say at the beginning of this, but I am the chair of. And we provide graduate students about 7 pounds of produce every week for 10 weeks out of the quarter. And it's on a need basis. And so depending on need, you can either get a free box or a discounted box. And the Food Recovery Network is a kind of national nonprofit that works to try to recover food that would go bad and bring it to a centralized location for distribution. The San Diego chapter is managed by students, and they operate out of some locations on campus, either at OMS or on campus at the Triton Food Pantry. Next slide, please. There are additional resources for you to use that promote food community and justice. Rogers Community Garden is a garden that students can access. It's managed by students. They accept scraps for compost, and you can grow produce there if you would like. The Shea Cafe is a all-vegan restaurant, and it provides a location for music and bands for kind of all age concerts. It's also available for students, the student org. And then additionally, the third point is just that students are organized to try to secure kind of a better working environment, workplace, to make sure the students have the resources they need to be successful in graduate student in your graduate studies. And I think that's all for me.
Thank you, Jack. And with that, let's move on to the student panel. Next slide, please. Since we've already heard from Andrea, Jocelyn, and Jack, in the interest of time, Venda and Caleb, if you want to introduce yourselves, please.
Sure. Hi, I'm Caleb. I am a fourth year in the PhD program for comparative literature. And right now I'm serve as the literature representative for GPSA, and I'm also the chair for the literature graduate student committee, which is a self kind of formed committee. And I'm also the volunteer garden coordinator for the Coast community.
Hi, everyone. My name is Wentao Ma, and I'm also a PhD candidate in literature, fifth year. And I am also working for a student organization called Dollar Lunch Club, dedicated to end food insecurity on campus. And we host lunch with a recommended donation of $1 nearly once a week. And just welcome to UCSD.
Thank you. Next slide, please. With that, let's use most of the rest of the time to just go over some of the questions which we have gotten from students in the past. We will use this more of a guide, as a guide to get our panelists talking and share some advice. And please continue to use the Q&A feature if you have any questions specifically for the panelists. So the first question is, what was the most challenging part of adapting to UC San Diego? Feel free to unmute and answer, panelists. Thank you.
I guess I can go. Oh, go ahead, Caleb. You go.
Well, I don't really. I was just gonna kind of more jokingly, just the hardest part of adapting was dealing with how spoiled we are in San Diego because of the weather. So like going back home to visit, I'm freezing here at 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and going home and anything worse is like, yeah, just dealing with being spoiled for the weather.
So for me, I used to work at UC San Diego. So even though I was there for a couple of years, the hardest thing was how big the campus is. So when you take courses, just make sure you map out where your courses are located so that you account for that time that you'll need to get across campus.
Thank you. Next slide, please. Since we've shared a lot of resources today, just want to ask what resources provided by campus have eased your adaptation process?
The spin scooters, those have been a lifesaver. So we have these scooters around campus. If you download the app for Spin, and if you need them in a pinch, they are located everywhere. You can see a map, easy peasy to hop on one and get across campus.
Anyone else want to
Yeah.
chime in?
I may take this time to plug more basic needs resources, which are very helpful with easing kind of the adaptation to UC San Diego. Essentially, basic needs resources provide a lot of food security resources, like the Triton Food Pantry. This is incredibly beneficial for kind of getting adapted to the UC San Diego region. It's the price of living here is definitely not low, so these resources are very helpful in making sure that it's accessible for all graduate students to live here. Triton Food Pantry provides easy access to produce and other foodstuffs, kind of a reasonable availability. And additionally, the CSA box program is very useful too in providing fresh local produce to graduate students. And so beyond that, there's also access to hygiene products from the Basic Needs Center, and essentially more resources available to students for finding off-campus housing at reasonable prices. So I would definitely take advantage of these basic needs resources when, adapting to UC San Diego.
Right. Could we go to the next slide, please? Okay, how would you describe your experience as a UCSD grad student beyond the classroom?
I can say another thing. That's okay. So similar to what Caleb said, it's wonderful weather here. I mean, it's really not, you can be outside all year round. And I think that, my experience as a grad student outside the classroom, of course, there's research, but outside of kind of just research, but in the broader community, I think it's really easy to access nature. There's a lot of different trails and mountains and oceans, and it's really a place that you feel like you can explore even outside the campus. And so, yeah, I would say that defines a large part of my experience outside of the classroom.
Thank you. We do have more questions, but let's just use the next couple of minutes to touch upon things we may not have the chance to already have gone over. So panelists, please feel free to chime in. If there's anything you want to plug, anything you think the students could benefit at this stage of their process of coming to UC San Diego, things you wish you knew, anything basically that you wish was covered.
I guess if I can add, I wish I would have started networking with the surrounding institutions sooner. So we have Scripps and we have the Salk Institute. And they, Scripps has their own graduate students, but being able to connect with those students and seeing what their PhD experience is like, and also just building a broader network within what they call the MESA, so the Salk, Scripps Institute in UC San Diego. I wish I would have started looking for those events that were promoting these like happy hours or just get to know other graduate students nearby.
Any other thoughts?
I can jump in here quick. One thing, I lived in San Diego for about 10 years now, so I lived here before I even started the program. Lucky me. But I will say that UCSD is kind of distant from the actual life and the vibrancy of San Diego. So because we are located in La Jolla, which is a little distance from the downtown. So I would encourage you all to make sure that you take time with friends to go downtown and experience the amazing life that is there, including lots of little hidden gems where you can go to see concerts, really intimate concerts, like the Casbah, or the House of Blues. You know, those are just some of the locations. And of course, we have SeaWorld here, right? So if you have the family and you want to go and ride some roller coasters or check it out, a lot of great resources are more towards the downtown area. But thank goodness we have the U-Pass, so you can take the trolley pretty much anywhere, and our bus network does work pretty well. There is some waiting, but I mean, you have that with any bus system. So definitely check out what you want to do for downtown San Diego and make sure that you do that.
Andrea, Wendell, any last thoughts, closing comments before we move on?
Yeah, I just want to add up to Caleb's remark. I'm a cultural person. I'm interested in all the cultural events. So San Diego has a very vivid cultural atmosphere, and Caleb just mentioned there are musical events. So UCSD actually has an amphitheater, and which I think is associated to the Art Power organization, and they have events all year round. And UCSD students can get free tickets, and also we have La Jolla Playhouse, which has hosted a lot of theater projects that have headed to Broadway and off Broadway. And La Jolla Playhouse can offer $15 tickets to UCSD students under the code Triton, and that's a huge benefit. And also, there are several film festivals. I am currently programming for the San Diego Asian Film Festival, and they host two big events, the Spring Showcase and the annual festival in May and November separately. Yeah, so, and also there are also like American Film Festival. So yeah, it's if you are a cultural person, San Diego is definitely an interesting place to live in.
Right.
Um,
Sorry, Andrea, please go ahead.
I don't remember if anyone's already said this, but I think one other thing that has really enhanced my experience at UCSD was getting involved in student organizations. So being involved in SUCNUS, I used to work with basic needs as well. I think that those things were really enriching in terms of like providing a community at the school, as well as helping me find the friends in order to continue to explore San Diego.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, panelists. And with that, I want to hand it over to Shana for some closing comments.
Oh, let you see me. So I also just want to extend a really warm thank you to our panelists. I really appreciate you all sharing your experience and sharing your advice with our admitted students, our incoming graduate students. I'm going to go through some of these remaining slides. I know folks have been putting questions in the chat. Thank you, or in the Q&A. Thank you so much. I do want to say that there are, in terms of kind of a timeline, you can be working on your visa documentation now. You can apply for on-campus housing now, and you would indicate when it is that you would like to move in, and then that's going to affect kind of when you're going to get that offer. Um, Keeping in mind that it wouldn't be before mid-May, but depending on when you put your when it is that you would like to move in, just kind of keep in mind some of this sort of general timeline. There's also a deadline to submit health immunization requirements and complete OPHD training in July. There's more information about all of this online. And as we move to September, this is when our quarter officially begins. There are also deadlines around paying your tuition. There's timelines around moving into your your residence. There's also international student orientation and check-ins that are also all part of this sort of um, joining our community in September. So just keep these in mind. The rest of the webinar series is also listed here. So if you're interested in any of these topics, please join us live. If you're not able to join us live, that's okay. Everything's recorded and posted on inewstudentwebinars.ucsd.edu. So please check that out. And there's also a link here to a welcome guide. I can put that in the chat for anybody who wants to check it out. You can follow the International Student and Engagement Office on Instagram as well, and that is going to be accessed by instagram.com/istudents.ucsd. And oh, we do have a survey. I know we're running a little short on time, but we do ask anybody who is attending today that you do a survey to let us know how this webinar series, if it helped you, what were the good things about it, what maybe we could do to improve. And this will help us with next year's series as we begin to welcome a new group of students. So I do ask that you submit the survey, and maybe we can also put that link in the chat. Thank you, Sai, for putting these links in. But hopefully, if you have some time, we really do appreciate your feedback. And if you have other questions, you can also, if you're looking for additional information, please visit inewstudent.ucsd.edu. You can also visit icontact.ucsd.edu to ask questions, follow us on social media. And I think that's it, folks. We made it. Thank you all so much. We'll continue to put a little bit of this information in the chat. If you can stick around, please do the survey. And thank you very much for your time. And thank you to the panelists. I hope you have a great day. I want to make sure I get these links in the chat for anyone who missed them. I did just put a link to the survey in the chat. If you are still with us, if you could please hold that up and give us the feedback, we would very much appreciate it. And I will stay on just another minute or two in case there's somebody gathering information from the chat. But I believe if you are a panelist or a presenter, I think you're good. If you want to, if you need to jump off for any reason, we appreciate you. Are there any questions? Okay. Oh, thanks, Sai, for replying to those last couple questions. All right. Oh, thank you to the presenters. I'm seeing these notes in the chat. That's awesome. We still have some folks that are here as attendees, and in case they are trying to gather some information, I don't want to close out just yet, but if they're trying to gather information, I should say from the chat. I think we have a meeting after this.
We do, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Anna, for being here.
My pleasure. It was great. Congratulations.
All right, people are starting to drop off. So I think I will go ahead and close us out. Thank you both so much. Talk to you soon.